Hi, I'm Steve Williams, and this is Scooter and the Sticks. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about Vespa desire, or sometimes I think about it as a craving to ride. I'm not talking about wanting to get one, I'm talking about when you have one and you're doing the dishes or you're walking the dogs and suddenly you have this overwhelming desire to go for a ride on the Vespa. So on this beautiful day, let's go for a ride and I'll talk a little bit more about it. One of the unique qualities of craving a ride, of that desire that comes with just being out, is I can ride through the exact same places that I ride all the time. And it's entirely fulfilling. It doesn't really matter the time of day or the weather. Being able to get on my Vespa and just go is a wonderful feeling. Especially on a beautiful morning like this. Sometimes I think there should be a 12-step group spinning around my Vespa cravings. I am powerless over my Vespa, and my life has become unmanageable. The reality is, though, I'm not powerless over it. I have 3 other machines that I ride, and I make choices depending on the weather and how I feel and where I'm going, things like that. And my life certainly has not become unmanageable because of having a Vespa. If anything, my perception of life in the world has expanded far beyond any expectation I ever had when I got this thing. But it's still, I'm shocked at how often I can be doing something and just get the overwhelming desire to go for a ride. What's strange about responding to my Vespa craving is I'll go out in all kinds of weather. It rained heavily last night and I wasn't sure if I should take the Vespa into the mountains, though these limestone roads drain pretty well, so they're not often muddy here. And I can stand up on the Vespa. But I'll go out cold, less likely in heat, and it just reflects how much I want to ride. And the reason is, it just gives me it's not an adrenaline rush, it's not a dopamine rush, I don't think. It's really just sense of calm and relaxation, and I can be at home laying on the couch watching something on Netflix, and that's supposedly relaxing, but it's nothing like going for a ride. And the ride's physical. Certainly here I have to pay a lot of attention to what I'm doing, but it's super relaxing. It's, I'm sure, responsible for this strange desire I have to ride a Vespa, seemingly all the time. Even droning down straight roads, going nowhere in particular, satisfies the craving. My mind empties out for the most part. Just occasionally I have an idea of somewhere I want to go. As I ride in the mornings here, I see everyone heading to school or to work. I just become exceedingly grateful that I'm retired and have stepped off that wheel. There are times when I get up in the morning and look out the window and see fog hanging on the mountains, and the desire to go for a ride is overwhelming, triggered by my desire to see the world in that somewhat surreal look with fog and mist that appeals to my photographer sensibility. And then the dogs look at me and I think, oh, the poor dogs. They want to go for their morning walk, they want to eat, they want to do everything like that. And I just want to go. But on this day, I did the right thing, and I took them for a long walk earlier than they're used to. But we all got to see the sunrise. My Vespa desire can transform me into a suddenly helpful person. I'll utter things to my wife like, do we need anything from the grocery store? Or is there something you want me to pick up at the drugstore? And I'll look for all kinds of reasons to go for a ride. But then there are the times there are no reasons, and I just want to go. And that's okay too. The amount of time I have to ride to satisfy my desire, my cravings, really varies. Sometimes 20 minutes will do it. Other times it will take all day to quench that thirst. I am indeed fortunate that I don't have to go far to begin satisfying that desire. Almost right out my driveway, I can begin to ride places that are completely satisfying. And that's great. But one thing I can say, that in the process of quenching the desire, it almost always leads to one thing. So what is that inevitable destination that comes during a ride? What other kind of craving piles upon the craving to ride? Well, some of you may experience it yourself, this sort of overwhelming desire that begins in your core, creeps into your brain. It certainly happens for me. What is it? It's food and the desire to get something to eat. So I'm going to the pump station to have breakfast, because one of the downsides of the crave to ride when you just jump out into the world is you forget to eat. But anyway, here I am. you? Good. I would like a jump start on everything bagel with cucumber and tomato. I don't think there's anything bad about giving in to my desire to ride the Vespa. And I certainly can attest to many fantasies about riding. And if I was completely unencumbered by any responsibility in life, I could see myself pointing my scooter west and riding into the sunset until I reached the Pacific Ocean or Alaska or Mexico or who knows where. But I've been riding a long time, and the desire to ride, the craving to ride, it has not diminished after all these years and all these miles. But anyway, I hope you find satisfaction with your Vespa, and that will wrap up this episode of Scooter and the Sticks. Until next time, be well and ride safe.